Okay, section 8.3 is factoring quadratic equations. When you have a trinomial, you need to factor in two binomials. It's very important that you look at the last sign. If the last sign is positive, then means they are both going to be whatever the first sign is. So if the last sign is positive, you look at the first sign and says they're both going to be positive. If the last sign is positive, you look at the first sign and the first sign is negative, so they're both going to be negative. Example 1a, we're going to make our two binomials. We're going to look at our last sign. Our last sign is positive, so it says they are both going to be whatever the first sign is, so they're both going to be positive. List the factors of x squared, it's x and x. Factors of 2. Well, we don't have any choice but to use 1 and 2. Then make sure when you check, you don't have to do the entire FOIL, just outer and inner. The outer is 2x, the inside is 1x, which is 3x, which is your middle term. Example 1b, you're going to make your two binomials. Look at the last sign. The last sign is positive, so it says they're both going to be whatever the first sign is. Factors of x squared, x and x. Factors of 15, we need to list them in numerical order. Now, because the signs are the same in the binomial, we want to find factors that add up to get the middle term of 8, 3 and 5. So I'm going to put the 3 here and the 5 here. Check, your outside is 5x, your inside is 3x, which is 8x, your middle term. Example 2a, we're going to make our two binomials. The last sign is positive, it says they are both going to be whatever the first sign is. Factors of x squared, x and x. Factors of 6, 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Now again, because we are looking at factors with the same sign, in our binomials they're the same sign, so when the signs are the same we add. So which factors of 6 add up to get 5? The middle sign, that's what I'm trying to find, the middle sign of 5, just 2 and 3. Check, your outside is a negative 3x, and your inside is a negative 2x, which is negative 5x. Okay, example 2b. Again, the last sign is positive, so they are both going to be whatever the first sign is, which is negative. Factors of x squared, x and x. Factors of 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. Now, which factors add up to get 9? 4 and 5. And again, always check. That's a negative 5x, and a negative 4x is negative 9x. Example 2c, signs are going to be the same. Again, they're both going to be negative. Factors of x squared, x and x. Factors of 12. List all your factors. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Now, which factors, again, they're the same sign, so which factors add up to get 8? 2 and 6. If you check, you get the middle term. Now, example 2d, it's backwards. Just leave it backwards and factor it backwards. As long as the first term is a positive, you can leave it like this. So, we look at our last sign. The last sign is positive, so that means they're both going to be whatever the first sign is, which is negative. Factors of m squared, it's in the back, so we're going to put it in the back of the binomial. Factors of 21, 1 and 21, 3 and 7. Now, which factors add up to get 22? The 1 and the 21. Check your outside and your inside, and that's your middle term. Okay, now If the last sign is negative, your signs in your binomial are going to be different. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Example 3a, make your two binomials. Look at the last sign. The last sign is negative, so your signs are going to be different. One's positive, one's negative. Factors of x squared, x and x. Now let's list all the factors of 8. 1 times 8, 2 times 4. Now, because the signs are different, we want to find factors that subtract to get the middle term, and the middle term is 2. So we're going to circle the 2 and the 4. Now, in this case, it does matter where we put the 2 and where we put the 4. We want to put the largest factor behind whatever the first sign is. So let's look at example 3a. What is the first sign? The first sign is a negative number. So we want to put the larger factor behind the negative or behind the minus sign. Now let's check it. Your outside is a negative 4x and your inside is 2x, which is a negative 2x. And sure enough, that is your middle term. Oops, sorry. Okay, example 3b. We're going to make our two binomials. The last sign is negative, so your signs are going to be different. One's positive, one's negative. Factors of x squared, x. Factors of 9. 1 times 9, 3 times 3. Now, again, because the signs are different, we want to find which factors subtract to get 8. 1 and 9. Where do I put the 9? Behind whatever the first sign. What is the first sign? The first sign is a minus, so we're going to put the 9 behind the minus. Check it. That's a negative 9x, and a positive 1x is a negative 8x. Example 3c. Make our two binomials. Your signs are going to be different. Factors of 18. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and 3 times 6. Now again, because the signs are different, we want to find which factors subtract to get 7, the 2 and the 9. Where are we going to put the 9? Behind whatever the first sign. What is our first sign? It is positive, so we're going to put the 9 behind the positive. Check it. We get 7x. Example 3d, make our two binomials. Signs are going to be different. Now, again, we don't have to list the factors of 18 because they're already written right here, but this time we want to find factors that subtract and get 3. 6 and 3. I'm going to put the 6 behind the positive number because, again, you want to put the largest number behind whatever the first sign is. Check it. And that is your middle term. Okay, so copy these 4 problems down, pause this tape, work these 4 problems, then come back and check and see, make sure you've got the right answers. Signs are going to be different. Factors of 15 that we subtract. You get 2, 3, and 5, and I'm going to put the 5 behind the positive. Example 2. Again, my signs are going to be different. Factors of 18, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3, and 6. I'm going to subtract and use the 2 and the 9. Now I'm going to put the 9 behind the negative. Factors of 48. 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 times 16, and 4 times 6. Which one subtract to get 13? 3 and 16. I'm going to put the 16 behind the positive, 3 behind the negative. Now number 4 is backwards, but because the very first term is a negative, I do want you to rewrite this. If it was a positive 24, then you would leave it and you would just factor it backwards. But because the first sign is a negative, I am going to rewrite it. Okay, now let's make your two binomials. When I factors of 24 that subtract and get 2 is 6 and 4, and I'm going to put the 6 behind the negative and 4 behind the positive. Example 4a, it says solve a quadratic formula. First thing you must do is you must put equation equal to 0. Step 2, factor. So to get this equal to 0, I'm going to move the 10 on the other side. How do I move that? I'm going to subtract it. Put it equal to 0. Now, I'm going to bring down the equal 0, and then when I bring it down, I'm going to ignore it. And I'm going to factor this into two binomials. Factors of 10. 1 times 10, 2 times 5. 2 and the 5. And I'm going to put the 5 behind the negative and 2 behind the positive. Now, always, you can mentally check it. Negative 5x, positive is a negative 5x, a negative 3x. And then you put each binomial equal to 0 and solve. So step 3 is solve. I'm going to subtract 2. So x is equal to negative 2. Here, add 5. And I get x is equal to 5. Example 4b, I'm going to add 18. Make my two binomials. My signs are going to be the same. Factors of 18 that add to get 11 is 2 and 9. Now put each one equal to 0. Take them out of the binomial. Put each one equal to 0. And we should be able to do this in our head. We're going to subtract 2, so x is equal to negative 2. And then subtract 9, x is equal to negative 9. Example 4c, I'm going to get it equal to 0. Make our two binomials. And I'm going to bring down the equal 0. And then once I bring it down, I'm going to ignore it and just focus on this trinomial. My signs are going to be different. Factors of 27. 1 times 27, 3 times 9. Now, which ones factors to subtract to get 6? 9 and 3. Where do I put the 9? Behind the positive. Why behind the positive? Because you want to put it behind whatever the first sign is. So subtract 9, so x is equal to negative 9. Add 3, so x is equal to 3. Okay, example 4d. I'm going to put this equal to 0. Make my two binomials. Factors of 70. Now, I want to find factors of 70 that subtract to get 3. I already know that's 7 and 10, so I can stop right there. And I want to put the 10 behind the negative. So x is equal to negative 7 and x is equal to positive 10. And that is the end of that's it.